And just gone by, you saw Rafiq Salam's Ghana Potholes exhibition from the Upper West region. You can send us a video or photos of what the state of the roads in your area are like and what your concerns are. But it's now time to have another important conversation. As you may be aware, Gyakye Quayson was sworn in as MP of Asin North after that very interesting by-election. And I'm sure you're familiar with the story. And he's currently in court, still facing trial. And it was quite interesting because while he was sworn in yesterday, the case was being heard in court. And the minority MPs in Parliament have made a promise to be with him every time he appears in court. But what is the impact of that to parliamentary work? And I've been joined now by Sami Obing. He's Executive Director of Parliamentary Network Africa. A very good morning to you, Sami. Before I hear you on the impact of the minority MPs' decision on the work of Parliament, let me just find out from you your quick thought on Mr. Gyakye Quayson's case and his re-election and the drama that unfolded in Parliament yesterday.
Well, good morning. Yesterday was quite a happy day, for those of us who monitor Parliament and who believe really that nobody, no constituent in Ghana must be denied the opportunity to be represented in Parliament. Those of us who have maintained that the denial of the people of Central Kofi and Fafulelodi and the South area in the 2020 election was such a cardinal injustice to them. Asin North has been denied representation for well over a year since their member of Parliament was injuncted from, sitting in Parliament, and eventually he lost his seat because it was declared null and void. And so for them to have gone back to elect a member of Parliament, for the member of Parliament to now officially take his seat in Parliament to represent the people, it was such great news. And I think that for those of us who are watchers of parliamentary democracy, there could not have been any happier news than that yesterday.
All right. So just let me know what your thoughts are also on the decision by the minority MPs to be with Mr. Gyakye Quayson every time he appears in court. We know yesterday was court day, so we saw videos of them with him in court. What is the impact of this on parliamentary work?
Well, it is within the rights of members of Parliament on the minority side, or any member of Parliament at all, to want to solidarize with anybody that is in court and the member of Parliament feels that the person has a just cause and what have you. So, it's within their rights, just like it's within our rights also to, be on the side of our colleagues in the media, our colleagues in civil society when they have issues in court and what have you. However, in doing so, members of Parliament must learn that they have a bigger responsibility towards us, their constituents. For which reason the decisions that they take must factor in the responsibility that they have towards us. And what is this responsibility? This responsibility is that they are our elected representatives. Because all 30 million of us cannot fit into that parliamentary chamber, our constitution makes provisions so that individuals will be selected to go represent us. It means that any time a single member of Parliament is outside of Parliament and does not participate in parliamentary business, tens and sometimes hundreds of thousands of Ghanaians lose their rights to representation in Parliament. And you see, parliamentary business is not just about public business. We usually categorize parliamentary business into two categories: public business and private business. Public business being the business of the government of the day.
Right.
So loan agreements, and all of those other things that the government brings to Parliament.
Sami, could you just hold on for me? I need to quickly speak to Mr. Abraham Amaliba. He's Director of Legal Affairs of the NDC because he has other very, very important issues to attend to. So let me just get his thoughts quickly and then I can come back to you. Thank you for joining me this morning, Mr. Amaliba. And I'm sure, as we could tell, your side was really excited about the swearing in of James Gyakye Quayson because you feel vindicated in so many ways. We heard from some of the Queen Mothers who accompanied him to Parliament yesterday while he was being sworn in, and the concern for that Queen Mother, who was speaking on behalf of many of the traditional leaders there, is that the case in court must be abandoned. For you as a party, how do you feel about that call?
I think it's the right call when you consider the fact that just a week ago, when the same person was presented to the people of Assembly, they still voted him back. Mm. It's a clear indication of the confidence the people have in him. Now you have a government that has dug its feet in the ground and have taken a position that they will go ahead in prosecuting him. Mm. If you consider the fact that we are spending so much money just to get the back of this man at the High Court in Cape Coast, at the Court of Appeal, and at the Supreme Court, and now also at the High Court with the criminal matter.
But Mr. Malibat, the reasons you give, isn't that setting a very dangerous precedence then, that if somebody allegedly commits a certain crime and is being taken on by the state, then the fact that they may have been voted for by people which you believe to be a vote of confidence then suggests that the case must be discontinued? Aren't they separate issues here of a thing of people making a choice for their MP and the state believing that that particular person may have broken the law at a certain instance? What is the correlation between the voting of the people and the vindication or otherwise of a legal matter?
Have you considered the nolle prosequi that was entered in favor of Aisha 1 by this same government? What excuse did they give? They said Aisha 1's prosecution will not yield any dividends to Ghana. Mm. They cited economic benefits from China. So we have done it before. What is the benefit? What are you going to benefit? I'm using their own words. What's the benefit in prosecuting the MP as we have it today? What's the benefit? It does not change our economy. It does not make our economy any better. But this is a country that is saying that we are trying to ensure that those who are living outside this country and have dual citizenship can continue to contribute to the nation by even removing a constitutional provision that says that they can't occupy offices.
But that's going to happen subsequently, and we've heard your flag bearer speak about it. In fact, we understand that in Parliament, that's a discussion that has started, and there's currently work ongoing. But Mr. Maliba,
what I'm saying is that if you have that discussion ongoing, even in Parliament, you don't do anything to defeat that purpose.
Right.
That's my point.
So isn't it a better win and a stronger indication for you as NDC and representatives of Mr. Gyakye Quayson if he goes through the legal process and he is cleared of all these charges, because your team believes that he has a good case to present? Isn't that a stronger win for you than just asking that the case be abandoned because he's been re-elected?
You have not heard any of the lawyers representing Gyakye Quayson saying that the Attorney General should enter nolle. I think you called me to discuss what other people are saying, and I'm saying that I agree with them.
Right, yes, I understand that, Mr. Maliba. I'm just asking you, asking you that for you, don't you feel that if he goes through the process and he's found not guilty, that's a stronger case than, the case just being abandoned or he being let go?
Oh, you are asking of my opinion?
Exactly.
Okay. In my opinion, we have looked at the facts of the case, and we have come to the conclusion. Don't forget that there's a witness who was already in the witness box. The witness seems to even be confused. He's not even aware of some of the things. that is going to be a waste of time. These are sum-up charges. Don't forget that in all this, the MPP has been saying, and the Attorney General has been saying that this MP must suffer the same fate like Adamu Sakani. So it's not about prosecution. It's just about equalization.
Okay.
It's not prosecution. If the Attorney General himself says that Gyakye Quayson should suffer like Adamu Sakani, you can understand that it's just about paying back, but not actually doing the work of a prosecutor. And that's why I'm saying that it would be a waste of time to go through all this process just because you want to equalize.
I appreciate your time here this morning. Abraham Amaliba is Director of Legal Affairs for the NDC, and we're just taking his quick thoughts on some calls which have been made by some traditional leaders in the Asin North area for the case against James Gyakye Quayson to be discontinued. He agrees with that line of thinking, and I just asked him whether it will not be a stronger win for Mr. Quayson if he's allowed to go through the process and, as his team believes, is vindicated, and because they claim he has a good case. We'll be following up on this keenly. Our men in court will be bringing us all the details, but I've still got Sami Obing of the Parliamentary Network Africa on the line. Sami, do you want to react to any of the things you heard Mr. Amaliba say before I proceed with you?
Well, maybe even before Mr. Amaliba mentioned, states that, as I was indicating earlier, parliamentary business is twofold. There is a public business side of things, which is, the things that emanate from the government, the bills, the loan agreements, the other papers that get presented by government. But there is also private business, which is the issues that members of parliament, for and on our behalf, execute in parliament, like questions to ministers on when our roads will be fixed, when our communities in various constituencies will be electrified, electrification, each project in communities, when schools will be built and what have you. And so for the minority members of parliament to boycott parliament on days when there would be court hearings for Mr. Quayson would mean that they will be shirking not only the public duty of parliament, but also the private things that need to take place in parliament, and all of us will suffer for it. But the aspect in which I can link it to what Mr. Amaliba said is also that we don't also want a situation where a certain member of parliament is on a daily basis frustrated by court actions that are intended to make him not able to represent his people effectively. So that if a member of parliament sits in parliament from Tuesdays to Fridays and we are saying every single day he must be in court, then we are invariably saying that every single day that person must not represent his people in parliament. And that certainly is not something that we encourage, and so it is about time that whereas we want the rule of law to prevail and people who are considered as having committed a crime or alleged to have committed a crime to face the full rigors of the law until such a time when, of course, bearing in mind that they are innocent until proven guilty. Whereas we think that must take place, it must also not impede the work of Parliament unnecessarily. And in so doing, also, members of Parliament must learn that in solidarizing with their people, they must not also make other people lose their right to representation. Right.
Now, your quick reactions to what we heard Mr. Amaliba say, and we can move on.
Well, so certainly we know the stance of the NDC party on the case in court, and the fact that it would have been best for them that this was not continued because of the waste of everybody's time and their opinion and what have you. We've heard also the Attorney General and their stance on the subject matter. In the end, the fact that the people and you asked a very brilliant question, that look, does it mean that if somebody wins a majority vote in an election, whatever criminal issues that are hanging around the person's neck must be dropped simply because of that? I don't think that's the kind of precedent that we want to set. But I also think that if there are semblances of deliberate prosecution, in this particular case, with the intention to, frustrate the work of Mr. Quayson as a duly elected member of parliament, then that also must be.
Right. So for you, what are your expectations moving forward? I mean, so this decision by the minority MPs and the call that the case should be discontinued, what are your general expectations moving forward?
So first of all, it is my expectation that these are times in which our political class must show leadership. Leadership that identifies difficult moments and have conversations, difficult conversations during these difficult moments to find solutions. So for example, we have work in Parliament to execute. Parliament is sitting now until about the 9th of August. There is a lot of business that needs to be transacted. The minority has served notice that they would be boycotted. I expect that around this time, instead of the majority also, countering them with unequal measure, perhaps having a conversation and saying that, look, we understand your point. We're saying that certainly Parliament work must go on and Mr. Quayson must be made to participate fully in Parliament work. And so would we want to impress on our colleagues within the Ministry of Justice and the Attorney General's Department to ensure that, they can argue that this case can be taken in a manner in which it does not disrupt parliamentary business. Parliament does not sit on Monday. Could we consider a situation of appealing to the court to ensure that these cases are taken perhaps only on Monday, or Parliament adjourns CNBA for their long vacation on the 9th of August? Could it be an option for us to look at the period after that, so that there could be, we could see as citizens, as constituents, that our leaders are really reasoning together to be able to find, solutions to the problems that militate against us as a country.
Grateful for your time this morning. Sami Obeng is Executive Director of Parliamentary Network Africa, and we just had that quick conversation on Mr. Gyakye Quayson's trial, what the future is going to look like, obviously from the perspective of the NDC, also speaking to its Director of Legal Affairs, Abraham Amaleba. Quickly, we will get interactive with you. Benjamin will join me for that. Do stay.